Bitcoin just broke $80,000 after a very long time. Ethereum also. We're going to go into the chart and discuss what I think will happen next for Bitcoin. We're going to talk about the time in the market, where we are right now, and again, what is happening next. And then very recent news, the UAE just got attacked by a few more drones. We're going to go into that and its impact on oil. So starting off with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has risen above $80,000 for the first time since January 31st. That is amazing news, and that is also something that I have been discussing in my last few videos, whereby now we're going to discuss it, what I thought will happen to Bitcoin and what I think will happen to Bitcoin coming from now. Well, first of all, let's start on Bitcoin on the daily. We're obviously in a bear flag pattern, which we had discussed already. And we are in the second bear flag pattern. We were previously in another one before that, and right now at crucial resistance here, testing the top sides of our resistance in the bear flag. Now, straight to the point, where do I think we are going to be going? And I discussed it in the last few videos, and thank you guys for watching. This is the bottom of the last bear flag at approximately 81, just above $81,000, which I think is the next price target for us to be hitting. This is also coinciding perfectly here at this point with the top side of our resistance, and therefore I believe that we can be here going down a bit potentially, but then eventually fill that point at $81,000 before then potentially going down towards the bottom of the bear flag at around about $71,000. Now, of course, we can go higher than that, than $81,000. The likelihood is less. If we go higher from there and we break above this bear flag pattern, well, there's two possibilities. Either we break above and find support here, or we just keep trading alongside the top until eventually we break down. And what's the next price target? Well, if we do break $81,000, which I think we will hit 81,000, I don't know if we will break it, the next price target is here at the bottom range of the range, of the last bear flag pattern, where most of the trading actually happened. We're not looking at the minimum point, we're looking at wherever most of the rejection support. So the support's happening, and the supports were mostly happening at around about $85,000. So if we fill $81,000, the next price target is of course the CME gap, and then here the bottom of the range at $85,000. We know that we have a CME gap right now at approximately $84,000 for Bitcoin, which was opened already at beginning of February. So it's been quite a while now that we have that big CME gap open. And we know that approximately 80 to 90% of the time, these CME gaps tend to be filled. Now, let's go into Bitcoin here on the 4-hourly. We can see that what we had previously, and I'm going to remove this line now because it's irrelevant, we had this major support line. We've been bouncing off that for a few times. We mentioned it in a few videos, and now is the time to remove it. It's not relevant anymore because Bitcoin is right here. So, next thing we were doing is we were basically trading alongside this support and resistance line, which we have now found support from. We'll keep it on the chart until it becomes irrelevant. And we broke out of this top side of our range, which I've been discussing also at approximately $79,500. We just broke above it. That is amazing to hear. Let's see if we stay above this line. We are of course still below the top side of our resistance. Now, if I look at Bitcoin on the 1-hourly, I can see something very interesting happening. Here, the white line is of course the same white line that we can see here, just on a shorter time frame. And we can see that Bitcoin is right now trading above this orange line, and we've been rejected once from the major support line, we've been rejection line, we've been rejected 2 times. And usually, guys, the more often we get rejected from a certain line, the higher the likelihood that we will not pass this line. Okay, and I personally think we will go to $81,000. That's just my opinion, and then go down and leave that CME gap open. And in my opinion, we now rejected it 2 times. We might attempt to try again a 3rd time. If then we get rejected again, even bigger likelihood that we go down towards, of course, $78,800, $78,700. If we break below that, difficult in my opinion to stay above for Bitcoin. Now, if I go out and zoom in here on the weekly chart, we can see that I drew these 3 red lines, and I also discussed this before. Thank you guys for watching. This is, of course, as you know, the 4th of May. And usually, going back in history, we know that on the 4th of May, Bitcoin has historically had a correction. So 4th of May, 2 cycles ago, we went down during a bear market. Last cycle on the 4th of May, we went down during a bear cycle. And right now, today is the 4th of May. I would not be surprised if in the coming 1 or 2 days, potentially, we are going to start seeing a correction here. This also coincides perfectly, of course, with us being at the top side of the resistance, probably hitting that $81,000 region and then going towards the downside. Looking at Bitcoin here on the monthly, and this is my what I like looking at, right? I don't like looking at the 1 hourly, and that's why I don't bring it up in the videos. It's not really super important unless you're a trader, and in my opinion, I'm trying to give you guys important information for Bitcoin long term so that you can really benefit. And if you invest long term, I can almost guarantee you that you will outperform people that are trading on a daily basis, investing so many hours. All you need to do, watch my 10-minute videos a day. You don't even need to watch it every day. You'll know when it's an important video, when it gets a lot of views, and just invest long term. We're in a bear market right now. Do not expect Bitcoin to go anywhere higher in a bear market. Usually we can see that in a bear market, Bitcoin goes down for approximately 1 year. Here in the second cycle, we went down for 396 days. Then in the bear market, we went down for 365 days. Here in the fourth cycle, we went down for 365 days. And of course now in the bear market for this cycle, also if we go down for 300, so it's 65 days, I drew it for a bit longer, but if it's 365 days, it will bring us to approximately October 2026, in my opinion. And of course, we know that we usually go up for 1,065 days. It has been like this for the last 3 times. And if that is the case from October, it's a very good time to buy here at the bottom. We usually shoot up very fast. And for that reason, I don't want you guys to wait until the bottom. Here, of course, yes, we stayed down for quite some time and it was a good time to accumulate. But for example, here we found a bottom and we shot up very quickly. And same thing here, we shot up extremely fast once we hit the bottom levels, and therefore do not wait necessarily until October of this year. But in my opinion, you can give it another 2 or 3 months, and then I would personally buy Bitcoin on a weekly basis for whatever amount you want to invest in. Buy that on a weekly basis for a 2-month time frame, and I think you'll have a very good entry point for the next bull run. Now, next points to mention is, of course, this is, in my opinion, a very good depiction of where we are in the market right now. Usually Bitcoin goes through these cycles of, we have like hope, and then we have relief and euphoria. And euphoria is when everyone thinks we're going to the moon, and that's usually when you should be selling. And of course, right now we're in the middle of a bear market. We have panic and denial and all of these different words that don't really matter. What matters is that we are going down right now, and most likely will go down for a few more months. Now, very important news. I personally live in Dubai, and I've heard this on my phone. I mean, we all got alerts, and a lot of flights being cancelled again. It's been, I don't know how long it has been. I think it's been a month and a half now without any alerts here in Dubai with missiles, and not very nice thing to hear at all. I was surprised when I heard it today after the German. I was like, no way this is happening again. But yes, it happened again. Iran launched a few drones. I think it was 4 drones that they launched towards Dubai, towards the UAE, and they attacked Fujairah petroleum industrial site, causing a major fire. And let's just quickly see. So why did Iran attack the UAE today? On May 4th, Iran launched a missile and drone attacks on the UAE in retaliation for US destroyer activity in the Strait of Hormuz. So they're not necessarily targeting the UAE regime directly, they're targeting more the US, and the UAE, of course, is an ally of the US, and therefore they're being under attack. The Fujairah port was being used to bypass the Strait of Hormuz. Fujairah is on the east coast of the United Arab Emirates, and allows the UAE therefore to somewhat bypass the strait in the north of the UAE, and hitting this strategic point is of course not good, and a form of retaliation against the US as well. Thankfully, I think 3 of the missiles were intercepted, 1 fell into the sea, but not good for the UAE economy, of course. And as a result, oil prices, of course, have gone up, and they surged above $119 per barrel after the UAE announced that Iranian drone attacks has hit one of the petroleum facilities. Well, it's $119. It depends really on which ticker you look at. Of course, this guy is trying to make the numbers sound very high. On actually, what I found online here is that we hit a high of, which is pretty much right here, $115. Nevertheless, we went to new highs. Bitcoin is trading right now to almost new highs for oil. If we zoom out a bit, we can also see what oil has been doing. We know that oil usually likes to trade here around about these regions of $60 to $70 per barrel. and right now, since the war started, has been trading between approximately 90 to, of course, $110, $115 per barrel. Let's see if the war continues. Oil prices will keep going up, and you already know what that means. Higher inflation, which means that interest rates should theoretically not be lowered, because that will just cause more inflation. But of course, the Trump regime wants interest rates to be lowered to pump the markets and to make him seem like he's the one responsible for the pump, while in reality it's just going to add towards the US national debt, which is currently at over $39 trillion. And this just goes to show that the fiat system that we are using and the dollar is becoming more and more irrelevant, and regular goods and becoming more and more expensive. Well, who benefits, of course, is asset holders, people who own real estate, people who own assets like gold. They benefit, and in my opinion, Bitcoin is a good solution towards this. If we look now at Bitcoin here on the monthly, we can see the monthly returns per year. And during a bear market, usually, guys, Bitcoin never has more than 3 consecutive green months. For example, last bear market, 2022 bear market, we had 2 consecutive months, and then we had, of course, many red months. And I think the bear market before that, here we go, we have 2018, and we had also not more than 2, 2022, 2014, we had also only 2 consecutive green months. Right now, we have May, of course, forming at 5% in the plus. May is just started, and in my opinion, there's a high likelihood that May will end in a negative as well. April, of course, done extremely well, plus 10.8%. Also, the S&P 500, I think, has done about 10 or 11%, which is the highest gain from what, if I'm correct, since October 2020. So everything is pumping, and that usually means a correction is coming very soon. If we look here, of course, like I said, Bitcoin just broke above $80,000, Ethereum just hit $2,400. And why did I put this up? Well, because $200 million in shorts were liquidated as we went above $80,000. And I want to just show this to you guys before I end the video here. And I keep bringing up this video, and I want you to understand, so this chart, and I want you to understand the meaning of this chart and why it's important. And I keep reiterating that usually these liquidation points, which are the yellow lines, which is the price at which people who have positions get liquidated, in this case short holders who believe the price goes down, they get liquidated if the price goes above this line. This price usually gets hit, okay? This is like a magnet. And we can see these shorts, which are around about $80,000, were hit. That's about $200 million in shorts. And right now, more importantly, we still have a few shorts open. Liquidation price points at around about $80,000 to $81,000, just above $81,000, which I think will also get hit and liquidated. That I don't know how many millions of dollars that is also being liquidated, and who benefits from that. Exchanges like Binance and Bybit and all of those benefit extremely from this. Like I said, $81,000 is here. If I go back, the range and the target that I have, the low of the previous bear flag, and in my opinion, 81,000 makes sense for us to be hitting. And I don't see much liquidity happening above that. Therefore, I do not think we're going to go to 84, 85,000. But come also, it's May 4th. We're going to most likely hit 81,000 maybe tomorrow and then go down. So definitely don't open any long positions right now if you don't want to lose money. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for the new people who subscribe. Really, it's a pleasure. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Leave a like. Bye bye.